all sailors, and we need to look what is coming ahead of us. You know, we're sailing fast boats, and if you're helming, you need to look on the water. What breeze am I going to hit? And 70% of your time you look on the water. You snapshot at the jib. Is it still the right angle? You check your main. Is it still set right? Where are those others? Okay. Hey, you need to think positive, right? The snapshot and looking on the water, I notice myself when I'm insecure or I don't feel happy about the boat, I automatically focus in the boat, and when you focus in the boat, you're slow. I'm slow helm swimming as well. If I'm looking in the boat, I'm only looking at, and the easy point is you sit on the boat and the bridge thing is right there, the bow, the jib, and you only keep looking at those, you're all the time behind. Because that, what you're looking at is happening now, so you only react, and you react to something which is happening now, so you're too late. If you look on the water, you can anticipate, you see what is coming, so you're ready for, wait, I see pressure coming, or you see a big hole coming, you're like, oh, if you see that big hole coming, and you see that wave, you're like, I'm not going to head up now, I'm going to keep my bow down, and keep the speed going, because if I head up now, I hit that wave or it stopped. If you're only looking at like this really small circle, then you're like, oh, I can feel a little bit of pressure still, I can come up, try if I can come up a bit more, bang, that wave hits, now we're stopped. That makes sense? Therefore, you really have to try to look at the water. And when you try to look at the water, what you try to look for is for breeze.
I think we know what it looks like.
What is that stuff? And it's like now you see the water is perfectly flat. And if we get a little gust on it, we all can see like those wrinkles, extra wrinkles in the water, which is a friction of the breeze on the water, which is, we can see the breeze coming. Some days it's really easy to see, and some days it's harder to see. But I promise you, if you keep looking on the water, automatically you already interpret what's coming to you. And by being more focused on that, you also start interpreting, okay, it's about, you start to get a feel for it with these wrinkles. It's going to be this much more breeze, so I can actually scoop back a little bit, because if that breeze hits, we're at the right plane for that breeze to hit. Or you can see like anytime I see that pressure come, that breeze clocks left a little bit. So I need to be aware that if it comes, I see it coming, I put my bow down already, so I got the right attach or the right angle of approach to seal that pressure well. Or if it goes right all the time, you know, if it's good if we ease the sail a little bit to accelerate, and then I can come up and we can sheet in again. And by keep practicing that, you get faster. And not so much on top speed, but you get a more consistent speed. And that's the other thing with cat sailing, it's all about consistent speed.
When you're looking at the water and you see the wind coming up, do you have a feeling whether it's a lift or a header? And I mean, in your mind, is it a different color? I've sailed with people who just know, you know, 10 boat lengths, we got a lift, so and so.
Yeah. Most of them I see in the water, yeah.
You can tell the difference between a lift and a header.
Yeah, but it's all a little bit, it's also, you have to think about if the sun is in a certain direction, the light, let's say if the sun is in that direction, and you have wrinkles coming from that direction, you will see more shadow. If it comes more from the right, you will see actually more glare. But in general, you will see, if you look to the right, more glare and darker water. So you have to just try to see if the difference in those within the glare, if you see the difference of a bit more or less. We're still with Dan's question about, can you see like how lift or if it's a lefty or a righty? if you look to wind on the water, it's like a pressure patch on the water, and if you go a little bit in like how is like an extra piece of pressure forming, how do we see a puff coming, or what is a puff? And pure basics of the breeze, like we got an let's say 500 to 1,000 meter level, we got wind going. We saw that yesterday, where those clouds came in pretty fast, and there was maybe at 300 meters level. They moved in pretty fast. If they start to mix with lower air level, which means the ground is heating up, air is rising, the warm air is hitting that fast moving air, and it starts to create a roll of breeze. It starts to drive and mix, and that air underneath gets speed. And you can see how those fumbles of hot air get momentum and get thrown down. So by the time it's really mixed, some of those bulbs come down and they land on the water, which we see as a puff, as an extra imprint on the water, because that breeze comes first from on top, gives an extra imprint, and then gets speed as well, while it's forming extra wrinkles. The way this puff is moving over the water, most of them are moving over the water. They get speed, momentum, and they move. And if you watch them, that's why we look 70% of the time out of the boat. You see them coming, you see they form a certain path, and maybe it's going like this. And to see that actual path is, you can see by how they move over the waves. Most of the wave directions are the same, so you get like a sort of an angle over the water, which helps you, a pattern. Or, I know a lot of people look at it by just looking at the mark, or a fixed point in the water, and they see how does that puff travel over the water. Is it going more from right to left, or from left to right, to determine a direction. It isn't easy to see, you know, and yeah, maybe you get it 70% of the time right, and some of the time wrong. It's also a thing of practicing. You need to say like, okay, this one's going, keep looking at it, this one's going left. It goes left, you have like one strike. Yeah, it's all a matter of practicing your eyes and trying to find the tells what will happen.
But at this point, do you think that you advise us to start trying to guess and start trying to steer to it, or do you think it's better for us to actually?
No, it's more, I just wanted to say, like, you have to practice your eyes looking at it and see if you can find the tells in that, if you actually can see it. Yeah. The best is not when you're sailing the boat, it's better when when we're like yesterday, most of you were sleeping on the boat while we were waiting. At least that's what I always get as a thing from my coach. It's like, if I see you sleeping on the boat in between races, you have to keep your eyes open. What's going to happen? What will happen? Do you see cloud movement? Do you see the fog move from left to right? What do you see in the water? So like, try to keep track with the system, what's going on. And that also is the moment where if you stand on the boat, you got a better top view of what's going on with the breeze. And try just to stand on the boat and look on the water and see like, that one's maybe coming more from the right, or that one's coming more from the left. And see if you can see it. Practice your eyes that way. But most of us are not used to look at it. But by starting to look at it, you can actually see it.